what's up? I'm here with the Shameik Moore, who has hit it. The Shameik. Everybody should have a "the" in front of their name, right?
Right. I like that. Continue.
I feel like that's when you made it. Is like when there's a "the" in front of your name.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'm really excited that you're here for Ace Universe conversation. I know you've got some really dope stuff going on, and fans have a lot of questions. So, and I also know you don't have a lot of time, so we're gonna ask a couple questions. Just chill, kick it in our socially isolated.
Let's do that.
Places. Dope. So while you are fairly young, you have been acting for almost a decade at this point. And you've done some really cool roles. Most recently, Miles Morales in Sony's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But you're also a dancer, a singer, like all-around performer. My biggest question for you, and I always think this is interesting when folks are multi-hyphenate, do you feel like those skills, even though the movie was animated, helped you bring Miles Morales from page to screen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When being like right now, I was up all night, I was working on this video, but my voice is a little more. But if I want to get into Miles, I got to change the tone of my voice, Even that's still not quite, what Miles sounds like, but it definitely comes into play, like vocal training and use of your diaphragm, all of that for sure. And then the acting experience definitely helps because I could put myself in the shoes of the character, even though it's a live act. I mean, it's a animation. I could still tap into it. What would I do?
And Miles, love it. And Miles has some of the coolest shoes in the game. So
I got 3 pairs of them. I know it.
I only have one. I feel like I need to get my game.
Right. And one I will never wear that I got signed by my, everybody involved. And then I got one that I have dirtied up because I wear all the time. And then there's one that I wear when it's a nice occasion,
See, I like the way you think because J's are for dressing up. Yeah. I fully agree.
Right.
Oh man. So, and I love this because I think this is so indicative of the coolness of Miles, right? Like Miles is cool. He's quirky. He's this animated like kid that a lot of us have grown to know and love, all puns intended on animated. What did a recording session look like for you? Like in my head, I feel like you had to really work to keep that kind of energy up for that long amount of time. Like, were there any special tactics, traditions, habits that you developed during the recording?
They knew I loved fruit, especially oranges. I love ginger ale, Canada Dry specifically. They're gonna have to pay me for that sponsorship. I love Fiji and Essentia water, and they always had that prepared for me at all times. So that by itself was great. When I was hungry, they got me sandwiches. Other than that, I listened to chakra bowls and, positive audio books, self-help books. And yeah, that's pretty much my process into getting into character. Make sure I'm up for a couple hours, let my voice, thaw out. And, I go to work. We was working about 2 years. So yeah, I'm excited to get started on number 2.
We're all excited for you to get started on number 2. The internet exploded when they found out that the second one was coming. It's just such an amazing movie, but also like Miles Morales is such a beloved character, right? Like, were you a comics fan before you took on the roles of Miles Morales? Were you a Miles fan? Like,
I watched, I watched I don't know I think it was on Disney. It might have been on Disney, but I saw something when Miles appeared for 5 minutes on a show that it was about Peter Parker. It was an alternate universe. And I remember that the character, like how they drew him in that animation, he had like a low haircut and like, it was like somebody took a picture of me and then someone else drew it, you know. So I always felt like I was Miles Morales because I thought whoever did the work on that was like looking at a picture of me and drew it. And so when I was writing down I am Miles Morales, I am Spider-Man in my journal while filming Dope, it came to life, I think, because I really truly believed that someone was drawing my face. and
I
and
love
yeah,
it.
that's my story.
Well, that's actually really cool because one of the things that folks don't know, like there's several members of the Dope family who
Hmm.
ended up in the larger Spider universe. Like, and it's so funny because I actually was like having a conversation with Tony Revolori, and it's been so long since Dope, and y'all were so young in that movie. Like to think now that you're Tony Revolori, Zoe Kravitz, who was in Into the Spider Verse, like how cool is it seeing the progression in your careers since Dope? Because like in my head, I feel like y'all have like a secret handshake, like y'all just like yo, this is
We
like
do have the secret handshake, actually. We not secret. It was in the movie Dope, but no, yeah. I mean, Zoe's career was already going by the time I joined Dope, but I think she's done a lot of things since then. That's cool. Um, and Tony, I mean, yeah, that dude, he's one of a kind. So he's definitely one of a kind, and I'm thankful for the progression that God has blessed me with. That I'm walking down my path. So to look back, that was like almost 5 years or 6 years ago now. So yeah, I feel like I could take it up a notch. So that's what I'm focused on right now, just bettering myself. But I'm definitely thankful, and it is very interesting to see what has happened in that time period, so I can better gauge how I can do better in the next 5, 6 years.
word. Well, and I think that's actually it's a perfect segue into the next question I had. Like I love the fact that while most I don't think any of your roles have necessarily been musical, like just a musical,
Yeah.
but there have been these multiple opportunities for audiences to see your acting skills, but also your singing skills, right? Like you sang a track for your last released film from in Netflix's Let
Oh,
It Snow.
uh-huh.
Um, and
Mhm.
like you actually did sing a song for Into the Spider Verse on the holiday album, which I
Uh-huh.
very much enjoy. Um, and obviously, Dope like was a really big. Like I was listening to the Oreos I still do like for real. That album is. Do you feel like you seek out roles that allow you to be a multi hyphenate performer, or is this something that you just kind of fall into? And either way, is this something that we'll see more in the future with your career?
um I think that we're very uh precise, like a dart. I think that we're very it's funny, there's roles that I've auditioned for that I was really interested in, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. Um and all of the roles that do gravitate towards me seem like the director or the producers or somebody's like already a fan. They already know that they want me for that role, you know. So all that to say, Let It Snow, Wu Tang, um, Spider Man Into the Spider Verse, Dope. Like these are all roles where people knew of me. I still had the audition for the Get Down and Spider Man and Dope, but they all saw my audition tapes or heard about me before or saw the movie before or whatever and wanted me in the project. So
Yeah.
all of that to say, I do think now that I'm working on directing and I'm focused on behind the scenes as well. I kind of know like when we're working on a script or we have an idea for a film or a music video, it's kind of like I already think I know who I want. So I'm gonna see if they're available first, and then we go from there. So me knowing that process is kind of like, all right, now my theory has been right this whole time because I would tell people I'm not auditioning for this and that, but I know that it came off like a little weird when I said that. But it's more about me being like conscious about my time. I don't want to go on like 1,000 auditions, which is very easy to happen as an actor. You know, I rather audition for roles that I know are going to be iconic or play a part in my body of work. Like after 100 years, and I have like great grandchildren or something, or just grandchildren or whatever. It's kind of like they need to look at my work and like be able to go down a rabbit hole, you know, and just learn so much different sides of me. All the roles I take should have like a different um, character. You know, none of them should be the same. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting because, while folks obviously want to know everything about Into the Spider-Verse 2, which I know you can say nothing about, so I will not ask that question. I am curious for folks to know that, you have other stuff that's either in post right now, that's coming down the pipe, that was in production when all this kind of ran through, like, and actually one that involves RZA after the Wu-Tang uh, piece that you did. Like, where else can people see your work right now? What else do you have coming down the pipe?
Cutthroat City came out yesterday, or no, on Friday. It came out Friday. It's a movie. That's how RZA and I connected. He came to me with that opportunity. It's another example of the director like knowing that he wanted to work with me. And I don't think there's music involved in that one, but I'm like, you know, Hurricane Katrina strikes, and now I have to provide for my family because I'm a comic book artist. Like I draw comics, and um, yeah, it's just hard to provide for my family. So then we resort desperate people, desperate situations, desperate actions. You know,
I
uh,
hear there's a heist. That's what I hear.
there's definitely a heist. We go and get some money. So
I mean, do what you got to do.
you know. I don't condone that behavior though, guys. You know, I don't condone that behavior. But yeah.
So we have a couple of fan questions that I would love to get to before we let you go do all the amazing things that I know you've got coming down the pipe. Our first fan question is from Tessa's Curls.
Okay.
How was voice acting in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse different from acting in front of a camera? Also, I love you so much. You're simply amazing.
Thank you. It's not too much different other than that the camera isn't on my face, but I do everything the same as the actor. Peter, you know. Why? What do I need to, I get just as animated in front of the mic even though nobody will see it. But the major difference is just looking at the movie that I'm not going to see myself. I'm going to hear myself, but I'm not going to see myself. Yeah.
All right. So Robert Barrow 99. What's your favorite superhero movie? Ooh.
My favorite superhero movie, it has to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse first, right? But after that, I would probably say The Matrix isn't really counted as a superhero movie, is it?
I mean, I would count The Matrix as they fly.
Okay.
and jump over things. While the infinite power is inside of the Matrix, I still feel like we're dealing with superheroes.
Right. Okay. Well, if The Matrix is counted, The Matrix is my favorite movie, period. But if The Matrix can't be counted, I would probably say, one of the Batman movies, Yeah.
That's a very broad swath. And if I were if I were a different person, I'd be like, so which Batman movie?
The one where Heath Ledger was in it. Yeah.
Word. It was a masterpiece. You're right. You're right. All right. So Marco Gonzalez, where does the inspiration for your take on Miles come from? Did you read any comics to help with it?
I mean, I've always felt like even in my journal, like I am Miles Morales. I am Spider-Man. Like in my head, I relate to him in a lot of ways. So I was really just reading the lines. That was really what getting in the character. I saw it as when I was younger. I was never really the kid to like read comic books, but my cousin collected them. But I like to watch, Dragon Ball Z and all these animated TV shows. If it's Spider-Man on, I would watch Spider-Man. If it whatever is anime cartoons, I was watching those. But my cousin had boxes and
Dope.
boxes and boxes of comics. So
It's dope. I mean, and everybody comes at it in their own way, right?
right.
All right, from Steven Alvarez, how did you prepare to play Raekwon in the Wu-Tang show? That's tough.
Yeah, I had to meet him because I think they had me do one scene before I met him, and then we ended up redoing it because I was like, I did, they used some of it, but I was like, I told RZA, I can't play this man and he's alive, and I don't know, because I'd be creating my own version of Raekwon instead of it being like, if somebody meets Raekwon, they need to be like, yo, Shameik did his thing. Like, I feel like I met him as a kid. So anyway, yeah, I was working on Let It Snow, and Raekwon came out to Toronto, and then we had dinner, and from there it was just kind of like we started chopping. So I would record like when he was speaking to me, and I was just paying attention to like how he was eating, how he was walking, how he introduced himself to me, like all of that. Every time I see him, I'm like just studying just so I can like be him. Yeah.
That's real. I think it's so interesting because a lot of folks, like when you see a lot of biopics, when you see a lot of docs, like the person is not alive. But when you're really working on that kind of movie, specifically with Wu-Tang, right? Like not all of Wu-Tang is still here, but a lot of Wu-Tang is still
Uh-huh.
alive and like still doing work.
Right.
Like it's not even like they're retired, right?
Yeah.
So that must have been like, it must have been incredible, but also like you
Pressure.
had to be a little nervous.
Yeah. I wasn't. I am all that I am, right? But I think that when RZA hired me, it did make me audition, and it's like, yo, I'm counting on you, Shaw. And like Raekwon is heavier than me. He's a gangster, and it's like it's not even like I could use the get down my Shaolin Fantastic accent. Shaolin Fantastic's from New York, but it's just a different. It's like 70s versus it being like, yo, son, word is born, God, peace, peace. Like all like that's a different. They put extras on their language, on their verbiage, on how they communicate. So I gotta like be that. It's just different. That was the hardest part for me, and like how he's moving, and getting into character, and like, yeah, that's the it was definitely pressure. I was like, but RZA did pull me aside afterwards, and he was like, "Yo, I'm just glad I didn't have to tell you that you got to get this together." you know, he was like, that would have been a different situation, but nah, they call me the delivery man on set, so nah.
Word, yo, that's high. It's high praise. Congratulations on everything you're doing. I know this is like still busy time for you. You're still out here grinding. You're still making music and doing what you need to do. Is there anything on the music side that folks should be looking out for?
Yeah, I'm about to start dropping. I was gonna drop this video a few weeks ago, but or a few months ago now. But I've taken time to do a lot of self-reflecting and whatnot. And so now yeah, we're about to drop some music in a couple weeks, and I'm about to shock the world. So that's pretty much that's you blink your eyes, it'll be here. So soon, 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 soon.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really, really excited. I just want to remind folks who are watching, you can go to the Ace Comic Con Ace Universe website. Make sure you sign up to get your personal items autographed by this a wonderful human being right here. And also, check out all his work that's coming down the pipe. And I'm looking forward to seeing some awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff, awesome sauce, abundance, love, and light. Thank you.